Sairam students, let's begin with the today's session, Class 8 Political Science. Children, today we are going to begin with a new chapter of political science, that is chapter number 5. Chapter's name is Judiciary. Now let's go through the content of the chapter. First we will see the introduction. Then we will see what is the role of the judiciary in that. Then what is an independent judiciary? What is the structure of courts in India? Then what are the different branches of the legal system? Then does everyone have access to the courts? These are the topics that we are going to cover in judiciary chapter. Now let's begin with the introduction, children. Children, if you all remember, you have learnt in your previous chapter, chapter number 4, about about rule of law in the chapter number 4, that is understanding laws, right? Actually, what is that rule of law? You all remembered it very well. I think you all know that. It means that laws apply equally to all persons and that a certain set of fixed procedures need to be followed when a law is violated, right? To enforce this rule of law, then what is there to enforce? Okay, first I told you about the rule of law. What is that rule of law? That laws apply equally to all persons, correct? But enforcement is must. Okay, the rule has been made, but law has been made, but unless and until the enforcement has not been done, then how it will be practically experienced? So to enforce this rule of law, we have a judicial system that consists of the mechanism of courts that a citizen can approach when a law is violated. Now, children, very first in judiciary word, it is connected. Judiciary is connected to judge. And you all know very well where the judge gives his judgment in the courts. So indirectly you can understand judiciary is connected to the courts. Now here, see, as an organ of government, the judiciary plays a crucial role in the functioning of India's democracy. See, to enforce the rule of law, we have a judicial system that consists of the mechanism of courts that a citizen can approach when a law is violated. Now, what is the meaning of violation? This meaning of violation is given in your textbook, also in the glossary, and always I have told you to go through the glossary in the political science, right? So the meaning of violation is, in the context of this chapter, it refers both to the act of breaking a law as well as to the breach and infringement of fundamental rights. Okay, so as an organ of government, the judiciary plays a very important role in the functioning of India's democracy. It can play this role only because it is independent. Now children, it is very important for us to understand about that. What is the meaning of that independent judiciary? Now let's move to the next topic. Now before coming to that independent judiciary, children, we'll be learning about the role of judiciary. Now you can see here the image of Supreme Court has been shown to you here. Now let's understand what is the role of the judiciary. Normally, if I'll ask you about this, like when the people go to court, you will say when they have the disputes, when two brothers have disputes on the property, or when your neighbors have got some serious dispute, they will approach to the court. Similarly, like the things that comes to your mind immediately is always that is related to the disputes only, correct? Or if anyone is not happy with the decision of any member of the society, can approach to the court. Like so many examples are there when a person can approach to the court, correct? So court takes decisions on a very large number of issues, right? We cannot say it is like only one issue can be taken to the court. No, if we will count, it is going to be the large number of issues. They can decide that. Even if you will talk about if someone punishes people for particular crime, like if that person is not happy with that the punishment that a person has got, will approach to the court. So this is like many reasons are there for which a court take decision on a very large number of issues. Now let's understand the role of the judiciary here. The very first thing that is there in the role of the judiciary is dispute resolution. Dispute means you all know very well. Resolution means to resolve it. If there is any dispute or any conflicts, to resolve it. Okay, the main first function of the role of the judiciary is to resolve the disputes. The judicial system provides a mechanism for resolving disputes. Now, resolving disputes among whom? Let's understand in detail. Like, it resolves disputes among between citizens. Like, I'm a citizen of India, even the other person who is fighting with me in front of me is a citizen of India, right? So if we have conflicts, we can go to the court and court is going to resolve our dispute, correct? But it is not only confirmed to the citizens, but when there is any dispute between the citizens and the government, even at that moment also a person can go to the court, and court judicial system has to resolve it. Even there is between two state governments. See, it is initially started with the citizens, okay, then it goes to the between citizens and the government also. Then the next step here it is between two state governments. Even if there is any conflicts among the two state governments, that is also the judicial system's work to resolve it. Then between the center and the state governments. So these all are the categories, children. The judicial system provides a mechanism for resolving disputes between citizens and the government, between two state governments, even between the center and the state governments. Now let's see the next role of judiciary here. Another role of judiciary is judicial review. Now what is the meaning of this? Let's understand that. See, as the final interpreter of the Constitution, the judiciary has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the Parliament if it believes, if judiciary believes that these are a violation of the basic structure of the Constitution. Children, try to understand. It's very simple. Again, judicial review means what? Like already the law has been passed, right? But then the review is done of that same law again. On what basis? See, judiciary has the power to strike down. Strike down means it can cancel that particular law passed by the Parliament if it believes, if judiciary believes that these are a violation of the basic structure of the Constitution. See, suppose that is not as per the Constitution, then the judiciary has that power to strike down or to change or to have the review of that particular law. Okay. Now let's see the next one. What is the role of judiciary here? Upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights means what now? See, every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. Correct? It is the right of each and every citizen of our country. Correct? If they feel their fundamental rights have been violated, fundamental rights that has been given in our Constitution, if it had been violated, definitely they have that right to approach to the Supreme Court or the High Court. Now children, here to make you understand, I'll give you an example of Paschim Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti versus the state of West Bengal in the year 1996. You have already learnt about this in your 7th standard, but just one more time I'll explain you about that. See, it is like about a Hakim Sheikh, an agricultural laborer who fell from a running train and he got injured himself, and then his condition got worse. Then because why his condition got worse? because several hospitals refused to admit him. So, on hearing this case, the Supreme Court ruled this Article number 21, which provides every citizen the fundamental right to life also includes the right to health. So, therefore, directed the West Bengal government to pay him compensation for the loss, like whatever was for the loss suffered, as well as to come up with a blueprint for primary health care with particular reference to treatment of patients during an emergency. So after that, that has been considered as a law only, like it was included as the primary health care for each and every person. It cannot be ignored in that way. If the government is doing that, government has to pay a compensation amount for the loss that person has suffered. So this is also one of the important role of judiciary, that is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Now here children, the image of Supreme Court has been given to you here. This is there in your textbook also. The Supreme Court was established on 26th of January 1950. I hope you all remember this date very well. We celebrate 26th January as our Republic Day. Yes, the day India became a republic. Like its predecessor, the Federal Court of India, that is in the year 1937-1949. It was earlier located in the Chamber of Princes in the Parliament House. Then it moved to its present building on Mathura Road in New Delhi in the year 1958. Now let's move to the next topic. What is an independent judiciary? I hope you all understand the meaning of the word independent very well, right? Because you all are also very independent students now. 8th standard students are independent students, correct? Now, what is the meaning of that? Independent judiciary, if we'll talk about that, it is impartiality of judge and judiciary is most important in this, right? Impartiality, understand that, okay? It should be impartiality. A judge and the judiciary has should be partial to, should not be partial, should be impartial to everyone. They should not see who is there in front of them, whether it's a person, the common person, or it's a politician, or it is someone who is very at a very high position. So, but how can we ensure this? By granting independence to it. Now understand here, see, suppose a powerful politician has encroached on land belonging to your family, okay? So within this judicial system, the politician has the power to appoint and dismiss a judge from his office. So what will happen when you take this case to court? The judge is clearly partial to the politician. Why? Because the control that the politician holds over the judge does not allow for the judge to take an independent decision. Try to understand that. So at that moment, the judge is going to be partial for this, right? Whereas the meaning of independent judiciary is that it should be impartiality of judge and judiciary is most important, correct? So in this case, now the control that the politician holds over the judge does not allow him, because that judge cannot take an independent decision. This lack of independence would force the judge to make all judgments in favor of politician, correct? I'm just giving you an example. Actually, practically it is not prevailing, but to make you understand the meaning of the term independent judiciary, okay? Then we have heard about like rich and the powerful people in countries, they try to influence the judicial process also, right? Even the Indian Constitution protects against this kind of situation by providing for the independence of the judiciary, okay? To avoid all this, the Indian Constitution has to protect this by giving the independence to the judiciary. That is, independent judiciary is important for this reason, to protect the laws that has been mentioned in our Indian Constitution. Now, one aspect of this independence is the separation of powers. Now, what is that separation of powers? See, it is a key feature of the Constitution. What this means here is that other branches of government, that means the legislature and the executive, they cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. The courts are not under the government and they do not act on their behalf. The meaning of independent judiciary, separation of powers, their powers are different. Other branches of government will not interfere in the work of the judiciary. Even the courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf. So for the above separation, the separation of power should work well. It is also crucial that all judges in the High Court as well as in the Supreme Court are appointed with very little interference from these other branches of government. That is the reason their appointment is very less, very little number or very less number of judges are appointed from there, so that the interferences, they will not interfere in that. The interference will be very less there. And once appointed to this office, it is also very difficult to remove a judge. The most important thing is there, why the less number of the judges in the High Court as well as the Supreme Court are appointed with very little interference from these other branches of government. Because once they are appointed from there, they cannot be removed from there. It is very difficult to remove a judge. So that is the reason. Now, independent judiciary, what is that? I hope you understood the meaning of the independent judiciary. Now, what is it is the independence of the judiciary that allows the court to play a central role in what? In ensuring that there is no misuse of power by the legislature and the executive. Okay, so what is the main benefit? What is the main advantage of independent judiciary? This is one of the important advantage of independent judiciary. It allows the courts to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power by the legislature and the executive. Then it also plays a crucial role in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens. This is also one of the important advantage of having the independent judiciary. It will play a very important role, a crucial role in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens. Anyone can approach the court. Why it is the crucial role for them? Because anyone can approach the court if they believe that their rights have been violated. Right? It is given in the Indian Constitution also. If anyone's rights have been violated, they can approach to the judiciary at any time. Correct? So children, in today's session, we have learnt about the introduction as well as about the role of the judiciary, and we have seen what is the meaning of an independent judiciary. Right? In the beginning, we learnt about the rule of law that you have already seen in the last chapter. Correct? Then we saw the role of the judiciary. Now, I hope you understood the meaning of judiciary also very well, right? Judiciary is that organization of government that settles disputes through interpretation of law. It is an independent organization of the government. Now, let's just go through the points that were included in the role of the judiciary. First, we saw about the dispute resolution. This is one of the important role of the judiciary. Then we saw the judicial review. Then we saw upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Then we saw what is the meaning of an independent judiciary. Correct? And we saw what is the advantages of having that independent judiciary. Right? So see you in the next session with the remaining more points. By that time, go through this presentation very well, children. Try to understand the meaning of these terms as well as go through the glossary that is given in the textbook. Okay. So children, read the chapter thoroughly and take care. See you in the next session.